Welcome to the DJ Insider Podcast, sponsored by Amplified Events.
It's the only podcast where we break down insider information from our weddings, experiences, and advice from over 15 years in the wedding industry.
We're your hosts. I'm Mike Kane, owner of Amplified Events.
And I'm Chris Zart, general manager of Amplified Events.
Let's get into it. Okay, we are back.
Yay.
Yes, new guests on the podcast. Please welcome to the podcast, Gina. Is it Paunicka?
It is.
Paunicka.
It is, yeah. Hanukkah with a P.
I love that.
Thank you.
Well, welcome to the podcast. We're glad to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
And so we met a few weeks ago at that 50th wedding anniversary for Jim and Martha.
It was super sweet.
Yeah, and that's at Trinity Banquet Hall, part of St. Patrick's in Chesterton. Yeah. What is your title there? What's your kind of role that you do with them?
I am event coordinator, manager. I do it all.
So will you do, if couples want to get married there, will they meet with you initially and do the sale and
they'll meet with
questions?
me. I'll give them a tour. We'll talk all things, maybe things they forgot about. We'll fill in the blanks, and then we might meet a couple more times before the wedding. It really just depends how nervous they are, how prepared they are. I work for them at that point. So once they sign that line and that contract, I'm theirs.
I love it. I love it. How did you kind of get into that role? Can you give me a little bit of kind of your background?
So this role found me, and I know we did chat about that a little bit a few weeks ago, how these jobs find you. You can't really force yourself into this. After college, I graduated with a degree in exercise physiology, and I moved up to Northern Michigan, and I did the medical field things for a while, all aspects of that. And a few years ago, I moved back to Northern Indiana, back in my hometown, and flipped it. And I started a career in a whole different area, and I love it. And someone told me that this job was needed, and they thought I'd be perfect for it. And it's someone I really respect, and they know me, and it's like, well, if they see it, then I guess I should give it a try. And it has honestly been super fun. And I think it's a great fit.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, it's kind of funny how, like, you're doing one thing, it wasn't even on your radar, and then you find it and you're like, yes.
Yeah, because I loved what I did before, too.
Yeah.
And then event coordinating. I love planning events. I've planned a lot of them, been a part of a lot of weddings. And my other bosses that I have, I plan all of their events. So it's something that you either get it or you don't. Yeah. And thankfully, I get it and I love it.
You caught the bug.
I guess so, yeah.
So you're hooked.
It's fun.
What are the things that you like about it? What are the things that you like or love about doing this kind of work?
These events for people, whether it's a wedding, I mean, we do celebrations of life too for people. You really are there to help them, and it could be a huge event in their life. Usually it is. Usually it's joyful, and sometimes it's hard, but you get to take the stress off of them, and that's what I love about it. I want to help them have the best day possible, the most perfect day, and if it's a hard event, I want them to be able to focus on the things that are important at that time, and it might not be party planning, but I'll take that weight off, and we can represent them as a person and as a couple. I love it. I love the little details.
I love that. Yeah, something, I think I mentioned it, but I love Trinity Banquet Hall. It's where my wife and we got married.
I love that.
It's such a fun space. It's so beautiful. And I think a lot of people may not be aware of it. Because it's kind of hidden away. It
is. It's tucked away. It's a little gem. And I talk about it more and more. And people are like, we had no idea that existed. No. And we have 3 beautiful spaces. So the space that you got married in is our largest space. You can fit 300 people in there.
Wow.
It has a huge, beautiful bar that we stock with your favorites. And it leads out to a beautiful little secret garden that is available to you if you rent the space to go and get some fresh air during your event. You can even have events out there. That's one of our new venue spots for an outdoor venue. Little secret garden there. It's just stunning.
Yeah, it's really nice. And it's right in Chesterton, just off of Calumet there.
Yeah.
In the back of kind of the St. Patrick's campus.
Yeah, it's tucked back. It's private. There's a ton of parking. And it's a full service place.
Yeah.
I mean, we supply linens. We have tons of decor options that you can use for free or for a small fee, depending on what you choose. And I have a great preferred list of vendors like you.
Yeah.
You're on that list. So, I try to do the research so people don't have to think too much, and I can give them the best of the best.
Yeah. As far as DJing goes, like, we love it because it's a perfect layout for a party.
Good.
Because you have central dance floor opposite, like, where the couple head table is.
Yeah.
Easy access. You have a drive up, like, wind, water resistant,
Yeah.
space. And it's ADA accessible. You have that elevator there, which is just roll my card in. I'll press down. I meet my equipment downstairs, and then I let the elevator
you got
do
it
the work.
handled. Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's such an easy load in. And then, the layout is central, so it's easy for a great party.
Right.
And which is honestly is a big thing. Layout is a big factor.
Yeah.
It's air conditioned.
It is, yes. And we do have a full functioning commercial kitchen. So when our caterer, the food is always hot and always fresh. Oh. No one has to bring it in for another spot, which is a little detail that I think people, appreciate a delicious hot meal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What are some things that, you find challenging about working in this role, working in this industry?
Sure. There's not many, but of course we all have those. Some people don't know what they need help with themselves. And my job is to find that out if they don't know and bridge that gap. So their mind is going 100 miles an hour with different details, and they might not know what they need from me, or they might not know what I can offer and help them with. So to take the time to get to know them and know their personality very quickly and bridge the gap of their needs.
Yeah, that's very challenging. That is quite a bit. Something to think about, you kind of you're in and out doing lots of events, lots of things. You're like, wow, this is actually, there's quite a bit of stuff here.
Yeah, you have to have some interpersonal skills, and you have to think quick on your feet. But everyone's in a good mood when they're coming to plan an event. It's just some people need different things from me. So, and I want to give them what they need.
I love that. So you guys do bar, catering, of course, tables, and I assume like linen as well.
Yes, linens, tables, chairs.
Do you guys do any decor or help with decor?
Yeah, so we have a good decor kind of catalog that we've just happened to get, through the years, which we are definitely open to letting people use. I mean, that's why we have it, so people can use it. They don't have to buy things just for one day, which is silly to me. But some people want certain special things, which is great. They should. I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, you do one event one day, like if you're doing a Saturday, like it's just one wedding kind of thing.
Yeah. So the space is yours for that day. So it's very private. One event a day. The quickest turnaround is we'll have one event Saturday and one event Sunday.
Sure.
So the space is yours. You can even arrange to come in and decorate it beforehand for a few hours. But that's why we like to offer a lot of the things there on campus, I should say.
Yeah.
So people, you don't have to haul stuff in. You don't have to buy a bunch of stuff. We have a lot of stuff to offer.
Super easy. And the catering and the drinks, everything. It's really kind of a one-stop kind of turnkey
it is.
spot.
It's fun.
There, so. And it's right in the heart of Chesterton, so we love that too.
Good.
Do you have any advice for couples looking to get married, looking for wedding venues, things they should look for, things they should avoid?
So my advice is to be selfish. We don't get the opportunity to be selfish very much. This is a really big day for you and for your partner. And if there's one opportunity for you to be selfish, is just do what you want. Everyone else can have their day when they want to, but just make sure it's about you guys and do what you want and don't feel bad about it.
I love that. That's such great advice. Couples, if they've already booked a venue, any thoughts on how to make the most of that experience?
Yeah, you could probably relate to this, but really check into your vendors, because some vendors out there are not what they are cracked up to be. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So do your research on your vendors. And if your venue does have a preferred vendor list, I advise to, trust them and go off of that. Or if you want to use somebody else, just do your research.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris and I, we had a podcast yesterday, and we went over DJ setups and what they look like. And I was like, I think a lot of people maybe take for granted they don't really know what the DJ setup's going to look like in their space.
Yeah.
But most DJs around here, they've probably already been there. They're going to have tons of photos. They'd love to show you what it looks like.
Yeah.
But man, what a quick way to, you've picked this beautiful venue. It's gorgeously decorated. And then the DJ shows up with like all these trusses and just ugly like cords and cable. And
you don't want that. Or they don't show up. Have you ever had any of those? Where
I've had a few.
Or photographers just don't show up, which is traumatizing.
Yeah.
So don't let that happen. Do your research.
Earlier this year, we had a situation where we got called at the last second because the DJ had passed away the night before the wedding. And so we were like, yep, we're coming. And we DJ'd it. And
that's awesome.
So that kind of thing, that does happen, unfortunately. But sometimes there is situations where, they double book themselves or they're not able to work. And so we're love to fill in where we can. But that's a big thing, to trust your venue, talk to your vendors. That's really good advice.
Have good relationships with your coordinator.
Yes.
Because they can pull a lot of strings for you if you need them to.
What about vendors who want to work at Trinity? Advice you have for them, things they should do, things they should avoid?
So a vendor personally at Trinity Hall, like I look at it as it's a team effort. We're all there working for the host, hostess, the bride and groom. There is no one having more power than the other person. We just have to work together, and it makes it more fun for everybody. I'm there to help whoever, whenever. I just expect, the same from our vendors to go the extra mile if they have to.
Yes, right. And collaborate. You're part of a team.
Right.
Your thing I know is important to you, but it's not the most important thing for the entire wedding.
Exactly. Everything needs to be great for you to have a great event.
Yeah. And ideally, things don't always go to plan, but working behind the scenes, keeping a professional atmosphere so the couple doesn't have to worry.
Yeah.
And that everything is going to be falling into place for them.
Yeah, that's the most important. A bride and groom who does not feel good about their venue, how could they have a good day?
Yeah, I don't know.
They can't.
It would be tough. Do you have any sweet or heartfelt stories or memories from things that you've done?
So you were actually there. It was for the 50th wedding anniversary, which it actually was the first 50th wedding anniversary party I've been a part of. I don't know if people don't have big parties for that, which everyone should, because it was stunning. It was so cute. But the moment specifically, I think you were playing their wedding song. It had to have been. And so it was just the two of them on the dance floor. And when I'm at the event, because I'm there the entire time, sometimes I'm bartending the event as well. But there's a lot of things going on in my head. I'm constantly looking, I'm constantly thinking. But there was 3 minutes where I stopped what I was doing and I stared at them dancing during their wedding song from 50 years ago. And selfishly, it was so impactful to me. It was the sweetest thing I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And I just wonder how many people are going to be able to experience that.
It's so wild to think that it was 50 years to the day, too.
Yeah.
They got married.
I want everybody to have that moment.
Yeah.
They've worked so hard, and
they were super sweet, super kind.
They were so in love still. Yeah. So in love.
Yeah, she baked her own desserts, I guess.
Oh
for
my gosh!
it.
Did you eat any? Of those?
I didn't get a chance to. They were all gone. Like all the best ones.
You missed out.
He did
they were
bring
delicious.
me. There was this it was like this little. It tasted like Kahlua. There was like this little it was like
Jell-O.
Yes.
With an Oreo on the bottom.
Yes.
It was delicious.
It was like a chocolate, delicious, alcoholic Oreo.
Yeah, and those packed a punch. Like, dang. Those were good.
They both loved to dance. That was fantastic.
Yes.
Their crowd size was just older and smaller. And so there wasn't a lot of dancers in it. But I really tried to stick to their list.
You did a great job. It was a party.
Yeah. It was fun. It was really fun. But, it's tough. You do this enough where, like DJing where it's like, I could have had a full floor, but I was like, that was never going to happen, with that crowd, with that energy, with the music. But we played their music and I think they had a fun time. And
it was good. And it was good music. Yeah. We all were jamming. I was singing along.
Any wild, crazy stories from events?
Of course. And I only look forward to the more crazy stories. I mean, we all have them.
Yes.
This one in particular is the best so far. And I personally hope it doesn't get topped. But this woman came to sign a contract. She was supposed to get married to her fiance in June, this past June. But there was a surgery. Recovery wasn't going as quickly as they wanted, so they pushed the wedding, and it was going to be in November. So we only had a couple of months to get things going. And so I quickly got her in, showed her the hall. She loved it, signed the contract that day, wrote her deposit down, and, we hugged because this is a big moment. And I'm sure, as you know, you get very close to these people very quickly. You're such an intimate part of their life all of a sudden. And I went home, and 2 hours later, I get a phone call from her, and I'm just like, oh, here we go. The bride is briding, which is great. I'm here for that.
It begins.
I love it. And I answer, and she is bawling her eyes out. And I just panicked, and I said, is everything okay? And she goes, the wedding is off. And I said, oh, because I wasn't trained into what to say when that moment happens. So I go, oh, are you okay? And, she's like, yeah, I'm fine. Me and my mom were, off to go do something. I said, okay. And she, the poor thing, was most worried about her deposit that she just wrote. And I said, do not worry about it. I will rip that check up. It's been 2 hours. In my head, it's like, you have more things going on.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Wild.
So I hung up the phone, and I was just like, what happened? For days after, I am wondering the story. I listened to too many podcasts about like this stuff happening. And she actually reached out to me, and after this devastating thing that happened to her, she wanted to donate all of her wedding decor that she had gotten so far for her wedding, which was a ton of stuff. And I just thought that was so sweet that, she had a terrible time. And instead of, going one way about it, she goes, yeah, well, at least maybe a future bride can make use out of this. So I meet her at her house, and I had to ask what happened. She gave me, the items, and this man changed his name legally. He was living a double life.
Oh my goodness.
This whole time.
No.
Had another wife.
No.
I know. Wild.
Oh, terrible.
I know.
Oh, that's so hard. Oh.
So I hope she gets a podcast out of this, actually. Yeah. She needs to tell her story.
That's so wild.
It is.
And then, of course, she's thinking of other people.
I know. What a sweetheart.
Can I give this to other people?
I know. Wow. But that's pretty wild to me. So now I know if that ever happens, which I hope it never does again.
Yeah. That is crazy.
It's crazy. Have you had any wild stories?
I mean, quite a few. We've talked about some of them.
I was there for one of them.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that. We just talked about that this morning. I was like, whoa, you were at that wedding.
Yeah, I got to experience
that with
so
you. That's so funny that you.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had a chance to talk to anyone else besides my assistant about it.
Oh.
And the groom briefly.
Sure.
But that was. For those who we talked about it on the podcast, it was last year. I got to look up the episode number, but it was at Aberdeen, and I think it was a relative of the groom came up, and she wanted us to do a song, and then requested it, 6 more times, and then she just got really upset. We did play it, but yeah, she was just very not happy with us.
You handled it really well. You did a great job.
It was wild. The couple was absolutely fantastic. It was a great dance floor all night. Yeah. People had a great time. It was such a beautiful ceremony, and great speeches. I remember the speeches were really good.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, it was really good. I remember. I talked about it on the podcast.
Really?
The speeches being very, very good.
Okay, I'm going to have to listen to that podcast.
So I'll send it to you. But it was a really fun wedding. It just, that unfortunately kind of overshadowed a little bit of it with just difficult guest wanted their song and wanted it now.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have that, right? Like people, you get all types of people, guests at weddings. You have to be really good with people, and you are really great with people. Thanks. You have to be in this business. Yeah. And you have to have thick skin.
You're going to have a thick skin, but you also have to not be cold,
Yeah.
And you got to be, I could probably do with being a little meaner to people. But
I know. But, sometimes it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. That's what and I'm like, I don't want to make this I'm really trying to not make a scene.
Right.
I really would rather, I have a private word with the guest, and then I play the song or don't play the song, and then we all move on with our lives. Right. It's a song. It's one song.
It's one song.
People get bent out of shape like it's going to ruin their life if they don't hear this song. It's so silly.
Yeah. And no one's going to remember that.
No. No, I mean, I do as a DJ because it was like, this was a
traumatic moment.
This was a big deal for somebody,
Yeah.
It's different if like, if it's the couple or if it's like, it was on a must play thing,
Sure.
But yeah. And we did play the song. That's the ironic part about it all. So.
It's all good. It's fine. We're going to have that. We're going to have those people always. You have to be stern with a smile.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You really do. And, you kind of have to roll with the punches and just kind of deal with it, things as they come.
Plan B usually doesn't work either because, of course, Plan A doesn't. So then you have to have Plan C.
Plan C. Was that a pretty crazy day for you, too, like being on the other side? You were the maid of honor in that wedding.
It actually was, it was a beautiful day. Everything went very smoothly. And I told the bride, if anything needs to happen or if anything goes wrong, you won't know about it. We're just going to handle it because you don't need to worry about that. It's going to be beautiful. And honestly, it was streamlined, perfect. There were no big issues. I was, of course, nervous for my speech. I blacked out, not because of alcohol, but because of nerves. And I have someone recorded me with my speech, and I refuse to listen to it because I'm just like, I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
Being on this podcast is even scary.
It's tough. It's tough.
Being on behind the scenes, that's where I thrive.
Yeah, my co-host Chris, he doesn't like to listen to it. He just posts it and doesn't listen. I'm like, I listen. I'm an avid listener. But I'm one of those dorks. I love the sound of my own voice. So
I don't know if I've heard my own voice for this long. So we'll find out.
It's going to be great. And no, we really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for coming out and taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate it. And if anybody's interested in Trinity Hall, look us up.
We'll definitely send them your way. And yeah, if you guys are looking for a great venue to have any kind of
anything,
bridal shower, baby shower, wedding.
Yeah, indoor, outdoor venue spaces.
Yeah, anniversaries, graduations. We do it all. So.
We do.
Awesome. Well, Gina, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. If people are looking to get in touch with you guys, what's the best way for them to get in touch with Trinity?
So on Trinity Hall's website is probably the easiest. Just Google Trinity Hall and Banquet Center. There is an email listed there and a phone number, so you could do either or. Those messages will be directed to me, and then I'll get a hold of you.
Perfect. That's kind of the process, the next steps. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then do you have a social media they can follow or Facebook, Instagram? Not yet.
Not yet. I'm working on that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This podcast might be part of it.
I love it. We'll link it. We'll link to you. So. Well, thank you. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thank
you. I'm Mike from Amplified Events.
Thank you. And I'm Gina from Trinity Hall.
And we will see you at your wedding.
Yay!
Thanks so much.